I will tell you, we have many of those exchanges that I just described. And many times, I or Natalie will narrate the moment. Like, we don't just let it go by unnoticed, and we don't just roll our eyes and go like, these boys.
Mm.
So it's called out almost every single time.
And what's an example of that?
Well, welcome to the Family Captain Podcast. I'm your host, I'm your coach, John Michael Clark. On this show, we help Christian husbands grow in family leadership and sex and marriage. So if you believe that Jesus is king, and you want to lead your family with strength and love, and you want frequency and freedom in your sex life, then you're in the right place. We're going to help you build an incredible family culture where God is glorified and your family is blessed by your strong, loving leadership.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Family Captain Podcast. I'm your co-host, Chris Farrell. This show is designed to help you become the greatest man your wife and your kids have ever known. Mr. John Michael Clark, the builder and leader of the Family Captain. My man, usually I'm the one who brings so much wisdom to the episodes, but my voice is a little scratchy today. So you think you could, I don't know, maybe just bring some type of value and take over?
Chris sounded like a chain smoker right now. I'm a smoker. I can't do the podcast because I'm a smoker. Yeah, Chris has been going through it. Had the upchucks and now having some other symptoms coming against him.
Fun. So yeah.
But I got you, bro. I will do my part.
Okay.
I will do my part to talk out my words, and you can just be the eye candy, and I'll be your candy.
Usually I'm just yapping, and you just got to sit there and listen to me.
Exactly.
Right? So.
I just wait so patiently.
Yeah. Okay. So this particular episode, I think is really important, man. It really feels like you and Natalie have your parenting very dialed in. It really feels
Thank
like
you.
Your boys are good boys. And I think all of us really look up to what you guys have built and the type of culture you've built. Because I've asked you questions before, like, hey, what's the spiritual rhythms in your household? It's like, hey, man, my kids just know King Jesus is King Jesus. And it seems like, of course, your boys aren't perfect, but, you really pull them in line whenever they're potentially disrespecting Natalie or you. And I don't know, man. I don't think that's the case for everybody. And so I do want to go through some parenting stuff, and I want to almost ask you to zoom out a little bit and work through not just like the simplicity of what you're building now, but really something that would be effective for guys as we move forward in this episode. And so the first question I have for you really, man, is just on consistency. Do you think inconsistency is just laziness in our kids, or is it actually like rebellion against responsibility? Because it really is frustrating.
Is inconsistency laziness, or is it rebellion? I think it's probably a mixed bag. One of the things I want to speak to, though, before I even answer that question, is just an encouragement to all the guys to make sure we're only comparing to ourselves of yesterday, that we're not comparing. Yes, we want to get inspired from families and men that we look up to, but we can't compare to them because we're comparing our day 7 to his day 7,000, and we will get there. We will get to that same kind of fruit as long as we don't grow weary in well-doing. We will reap the harvest at the appropriate time. So that's the encouragement I want to give to all those guys. And not to mention, we all didn't even start at zero. So some of us, like me, I say I was born with 4 aces in my hand. I don't know what card game that would be a good hand. I would think most card games that would be a good hand.
More of a kind in poker.
Okay, there you go.
Solid,
So
dude.
4 aces is a good thing. Stuff I know a lot about cars and card games, as you can tell. But I had that. Why do you say that, John Michael? Because my mom and dad loved and followed Jesus for real, for real. So because they loved him, because the fruit of the Spirit was just evident in my life growing up in the presence of the Lord. You've heard me say before, I wasn't just raised in the principles of God. This is what you're supposed to do, or this is what the Bible says. Well, yeah, that was obvious, but because I was raised in the presence of God, like it was always too late for me. So like by the time the world started saying stuff to me, I was like, well, that sounds stupid. Like, why would you say that? Well, because I was just born into it, man. Like what your kids have, what my kids have, what plenty of our listeners' kids have. Like they just don't realize in a sense, the utopia. It's still, there's still a dragon to be kept underfoot, and there's still troubles and struggles. But I want to encourage guys to remember everybody receives something different with their own upbringing. And I had a massive encouragement for it just because my parents were believers. So some of these guys listening, they're like, man, I'm first generation Christian, and I'm trying to, like, me and my wife, we both got saved. We met in church, 10 years ago, and like we've just been trying to piece it together one step at a time. So the Lord honors it all. The Lord meets us wherever we are. But I want to just remind guys, like, you're not to compare to somebody else's quote victory or their harvest. Just compare to your yesterday and say, Lord, how can I move forward? How can I be faithful? So
Amen.
back to your question. Hit it again.
Is inconsistency true laziness in our kids, or is it like literally rebelling against their responsibility?
I mean, I don't want to take credit away from them for being their own little sinners because they are.
Right.
But I want to go back to taking ownership because we could theorize as to why our kids do the things they do, and we know they're born in sin, like all of us are. But the thing I want to take ownership of is the fact that I live in such a way around here that sets a tone and sets a standard and sets an example. So likely we're seeing a lot of ourselves in our kids.
Mm.
I mean, I don't think anyone would fight me on that, right? Like, generally, the kids are reflecting what they're seeing in mom and dad, and particularly even more so in dad. So that's where I would have brothers look at, man, what do you see in your kids? A lot of times we see ourselves. How many times have you seen your kids? You're like, I'm not even going to ask where did you get that because I know exactly where you got that.
Yeah.
Whether you got it from the genetics or you got it from the visual example, like that is little me running around here causing problems. That's me in my unbridled flesh. That's how I would want to act. So I think most of the time we're just seeing what we've permitted, whether or not it's selfishness or rebellion. I think it's probably a little bit of everything.
Mm. I would say you're right in a lot of instances, but I will say in real time, and I think a lot of guys would potentially resonate with this. My wife and I sometimes will put our hands on our heads and be like, how are these kids acting as lazy as they're acting? We don't have a lazy bone in our bodies.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to like, you've told your kids forever, hey, you take your plate from the kitchen, you go to the kitchen, you have this job, you have that job, and you have that job. Why do I have to ask you to do it? Like,
Because
is
yours are
that
still little.
right? But
That's the other thing.
I'm
It's a
I'm talking
seasonal
about the
thing.
older girls, 7, 9, and 10. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Chris, it's
Come on.
so funny though because it's always relative to the ages of your kids. So I've
Yeah.
got a 17, a 14, and a 10, and you're like, "Come on, this kid's 7 years old." Like, I'm like, if I had a 7-year-old in my house right now, they would be so ruined. Especially if we had a 7-year-old daughter at this moment, like, she would be the worst.
Yeah.
So I think some of this is relative. Some of this is just they're gonna get away with whatever we let them get away with.
When does it
So
click
you're
though?
right. You and Jana are not lazy.
No.
You're not lazy. So in that one, fair point. They're not learning it from mom and dad. It's just the flesh. Like I want to get away with as little as possible.
Mhm.
I want little as responsibility as possible. That's not even my mess. That's not. I didn't even do that.
Right.
They don't yet have a family perspective. So y'all are growing them in that. But if
Yeah.
you could look back, you would see progress. You would
Yeah.
see that y'all have been consistent, imperfect but consistent, and you have continued to level them up and grow them and they're not going to be 18 and not caring about what's going on in the household because you'll get them the right thing at the right time.
So what you're saying is there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I just have yet to experience it. And there is a point in time where the consistency does pay off.
Absolutely. And of course the the consistency on the discipline is what is going to lead to the consistency with their behavior. They need calm consistent consequences, and if we absent of that, if they're really tenderhearted, then the lecture gets through to them.
Yeah.
So, but all of our kids are not going to be that same kid. Like I've got some of my children, I can like, hey, I need to talk to you, and I can give them big picture and the Lord's perspective and what it means for our family in the future, and they're like, that one can receive that. The other two, they're like, sweet, I'm getting off with a lecture. Yes,
Right.
like nothing's actually happening to me, So whereas they need like, ooh, they have to feel it, whether it's on their on their fanny or whether it's with another consequence in the household for them, but they're like, ooh,
Yeah.
the pain is my motivator. So those are the things that you're going to keep doing with your kids. So yeah, that's why you're going to get there, bro. Y'all are being faithful. Y'all are being consistent. Kids are going to get away with whatever they can get away with.
Yeah. That makes
And
sense.
dad is going to have to keep being the standard for a long time. And even when they're teenagers, like they surprise you because they're so wonderful. My boys are so wonderful that whenever they do act like a teenager, which I had that this week with one of them. Whenever they were acting like, I don't know, just a normal kid, probably, I'm like, who's this jerk? Like, that's the exception. And I'm talking to Natalie privately. I'm like, I want to throw him out a window. Like, blah, blah. And she's like, hey, he's like, you got to remember she says his age. And I'm like, I guess you're right. I forget it because, like, that kind of behavior is so atypical. But yeah, sure, he does still have his hormones working against him. Yeah, his brain is not fully developed. And so we do run into stuff. But thankfully, that's the exception and not the rule in our context. So that's my encouragement to you and all the guys with littles who you feel like they're never going to learn. Yes, they are. And they probably already have been for years. You
Yeah.
just stay consistent. It's not gonna be perfectly linear. It's gonna look more like Bitcoin. It's going up long term. A lot. But does it have some dips? Did it have a big dip in October, Chris? Oh yes, it did.
Yes.
No, it had a big spike in October. Had a big dip in
Oh,
November.
they're talking about the kids.
Chris is like, yes, yes, October was a rough one. We had the stock went down. So like that's typically how guys need to remember. But guys, their memories are too short. You need a longer memory. Like, bro, it's been a good year. Like
Yeah.
these kids are growing. If you're being deliberate, I know that about your kids. If you're not
Yeah.
being deliberate, it's luck of the draw, which of course we don't do anything by chance.
Yeah. Okay. That's that's semi encouraging. I just have to
All right.
wait and continue to be consistent.
Don't
Let's
grow weary in well doing. You
okay.
will reap the harvest at the right time.
Let's talk about fights. Let's just talk about how, siblings are close together, especially those who are homeschooled. Like you live your entire life with each other. You have no privacy outside of your own time in your room if you have enough rooms. And like you're with each other all the time. You see the best and the worst of each other. And so for your boys, like are they constantly fighting,
Oh, my boys have never fought. I don't know.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
But I'm sure there's guys out there whose children have fought. So
Whatever.
I'll pretend.
Shut
Bro,
up.
my boys have boxing gloves and gear, and I send them into the backyard, and they literally are allowed to fight. Not to
Okay.
mention they're
So
always doing jujitsu. Not to
what if you
mention
had
they're
girls?
throwing
What
each
would
other
you
down the
do?
stairs.
What would you
If I
do?
had girls,
Yeah.
man,
They're
I don't
vicious,
know.
man. They're vicious.
I don't know. That'd be wild.
They say the most hateful things to each other.
Ooh,
They
ooh, they
do.
cut with the words.
Oh yeah, like I wish I didn't have a sister. I wish you were never born. Like
Oh my
wi-
goodness.
women know how to cut with words, dude.
Yeah, that's savage. Yeah, the
They
boys
know.
will like hurt each other physically, and then they're buddies again. And the girls are like, I'm gonna twist the knife in so deep.
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
they think the relationship's over forever, and you feel like you're talking to them, and it's like a soap opera, and you're like, it's fine. Like, I promise.
All right. Well, I'm not the girl dad, but I
Yeah.
can relate to fighting. So, what was your question?
How do you handle the constant fighting when you're building a culture of like, hey, we are Team King Jesus. Like we are in the Word, and we are a household that reflects who Jesus is. But these kids that are allowing this hateful talk and this tongue to tear each other down, sometimes it feels impossible to stop.
Yeah, it's um, it's hideous behavior, and I certainly see cruelty in my sons, in their words. So they're not just purely physical, of course, with one another. Just an impatience, a gruffness. Like it's my sibling, so who are they? Like I'm not gonna treat them with a like they would never treat a stranger that way. Your kids would never treat kids on the playground that way. But when it's your sibling, you're both reaching for the fridge and they just body them out of the way. You're like, dude, they're like what? You weren't there. I didn't think you were reaching for it yet. Blah, blah. And it's just everything becomes a problem instead of like being gracious. Like, oh hey man, you go ahead. Were you grabbing the butter? Like,
Right.
hey bro, how about you just be kind to one another? And they're like, well, I just thought he was blah blah. So I will tell you, we have many of those exchanges that I just described. And every time, not every time, many times, I or Natalie will narrate the moment. Like we don't just let it go by unnoticed and we don't just roll our eyes and go like, these boys.
Mm.
So it's called out almost every single time.
And what's an example of that?
Well, like the bodying each other at the fridge or something. Like
Hmm.
that could be a real like that could happen.
Yeah.
That could happen this evening for
Sure.
real.
Sure.
So like loving and gracious, literally when I came up here, this is what
Hmm.
was happening. Natalie was wrapping multiple presents for a little girl on the angel tree, and she had the boys down there with her. like wholesome Natalie and her boys. Praise the Lord, praying over these gifts to bless this. Like that was actually what's happening. And those same boys who love me and love their mama and love each other and love the Lord could also this evening at dinner cleaning up, like somebody's like jumps in front to the other to scrape his plate. Dude, well, you thought, blah, blah, and then just immediately harshness and insults.
Yeah.
That could absolutely happen. That is a regular occurrence. So you got to know where your kids are spiritually. I do know that my boys are born again.
Yeah.
So I have that confidence and I treat them as such. And I go, hey, like I've used all kinds of angles. Like, that's your brother. He's going to be your best friend your whole life. I use that. I'll say things like that. I'll say the Clarks treat each other with warmth and kindness. That's not a neutrality where I tolerate you and ignore you. That's an actual deliberate warmth that I'm expressing towards you. That is a deference where I prefer you. We treat one another with warmth and kindness. Kindness doesn't say I don't care either way. Kindness says let me bless. So I'll drop that out there. But I don't go 5 minutes. Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, blah, 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 blah. Boys, stop it. Look at me right now. They both stare at me. Here it comes. And then I'll give my whatever angle of approach I'm going to take. My sons, do you love the Lord? Yes, sir. I know you do. Do you love your brother or do you hate your brother? I love him. Look at your brother and tell him you love him. Now they're already laughing. Like I make them do that stuff all the time as well. And a lot of times I'll do it to mock them. I'll be like, and I'll keep it light. Come here. Come here. Both of you. Or all three of you. Come here. Look at him in his eyes. And they're already like, and I'll like hold hands. And now they're holding, and now they're just really, now they're united. And it's all, the whole thing's ridiculous. I'm like, dearest brother. And they have to repeat this stuff. Dearest brother, I love you so much. And they, like the whole thing is, so I defuse the bomb, but it's still there's gonna be another bomb. There's gonna be another grenade tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but within a couple days, there's gonna be another one. So I'm constantly on top of it. We're not just like teenagers. We're not just like kids are gonna be kids. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
But I actually expect them to act like Christians. I'm like, hey, you're a Christian. So don't you find it strange that in this relationship, the fruit of the Spirit is so rarely showing up? Does that concern you? Yes, sir. Is that something that you pray about? I don't know. I love you, son. I'm praying for you. You need to apologize to your brother. Sorry, whoever. And then they say, I forgive you as Christ forgives me. That's what it looks like a lot of times, truly, on the fly.
Yeah.
Like, and then I move on, and then I'm back in it. But we're not just like, oh, do your thing, kids.
Yeah.
I'm on it. I reach to the heart of it. Sometimes I'll just also waltz it. Like that's a quick one that I go to as well. Like I'm not above like giving them physical consequences as well. Mine are too old to spank.
Right.
I think you spank them more when they're little. The older they get, spanking's just kind of like okay,
Yeah,
it's
it
just
feels
kind of
weird,
goofy and
yeah.
embarrassing at this point, and that's not
Like
really the motive.
too big to bend over your leg. Like, okay.
I mean, they would obey, but it would be stupid. Like I'd be like, son, my 17-year-old coming in the room, he'd be like, what are we doing?
He just
I'd be
told
like,
you now, right?
yeah. And I'd be like, I'm spanking you. And he'd be like, are you serious? I'd be like, yes. He'd be like, okay.
Can you
I mean,
please just get this on camera? Just
bro,
please.
I should troll him.
It'd be so funny.
Play it at his wedding. And like right before I do it.
Do it.
I
Oh
have a
my
funny
gosh.
spanking story.
Okay, tell me.
I think everyone's done this, where you put on all the pants when you knew the spanking was coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're doing that. I've got that story, but my funnier one is my brother and I, we were just going at it one day, back and forth all day long. Mom was out shopping, my dad was home, and my uncle was over. And we're just man. Not enough to really deal with it probably, but just kind of like hovering under the radar, being annoying.
Right.
And then finally dad like, that's it, which is obviously not our bullseye. That's not our target. I don't discipline because I'm fed up with it. Well, I'm not supposed to, is what I meant to say. I have many times, unfortunately. But he's like, that's it, y'all go to your rooms. Y'all getting spankings. So my brother, Bub, he's in his room. My uncle's in the hallway, and he's like gonna like watch us get spanked, which is just like, oh man, this is terrible. Uncle Chris, how you gonna do us like that? Dad comes into my room, and he's like losing his mind, which Dad never like lost his temper. I mean, he might holler, "Boy, you'll get," but that would be it. Like not like an actual eruption. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is crazy. He's really gonna kill me." And he rears back with the belt and starts hitting my bed. And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yell." And I'm like, "Ah!" And I start losing it, like going crazy because I figured out what's going on here.
Oh my gosh.
And my uncle later tells the story through laughter and tears. He's like, Barry Jr., my brother, he's like, he looked at my Uncle Chris in the hallway as I'm getting my beating. And he looked to my Uncle Chris, he said, "Oh no." He said it was all I could do to not laugh. So dad finishes beating me. And my brother's like, "This sounds like nothing we've ever had before." And he goes into my brother's room. And of course, I'm all excited because it's going to be funny. And he's like, "Dad, no, Dad." He's like pleading for his life. And then finally,
Oh my gosh.
I finally hear the belt hit the bed, and I hear my brother go, "Oh," and Dad's like, "Now y'all knock it off, quit fighting." Like, "Yeah, yes, sir, thank you, sir." Like we got our lives back. So
Oh,
anyway, funny spanking story. I'm sure
that
plenty of
is.
people have them. I have another one where we knew it was coming, and we had time, and we put on like 3 pairs of
Oh,
jeans.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and all the
Yeah.
underwear, and your dad's like, "I know you didn't gain 40 pounds." So anyway, that's what it looks like around here at this point. When they were
Yeah.
little, yeah, a lot more consistent with all those corrections were a lot of times spankings.
Hmm.
But now, like, I've got the variety. I've got, like, usually something I'm saying to them because I know they love the Lord.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm going for. And I know they love their brother. And I know that they're just gotten in the flesh and they need to get out of the flesh. They need to put on the new
Yeah.
man. But like I said, I'll do wall sits as well. Like, just annoying each other for just smaller stuff. But I don't want it to go untouched. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Hey, push up position." And they're like, "It's not a big deal." It's not like, "Oh, Dad, what?" Because even if they do whine about it, I'm like, "It's a push up position. I
Yeah.
have worse consequences for you, son. And if you
Right.
backtalk me, you'll get them. Get in the push up position." So they don't even mouth off with any of that. I'm like, "Hey, go hold that wall up for me." Like they know what that means now. And I'm
Yeah.
just nonchalant about it. Like if you insult your brother at the table or like just something that's just like slightly
Right.
annoying, I'm like, "Oh, hey, buddy, hold that wall up real quick." You're like, and the other two start smiling, and he's just wall sitting, and I
Yeah.
just keep eating my dinner. And then, a minute or two, he's like, "May I get up now?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, did you apologize to your brother?" "Dearest brother." And they'll be a little silly as well.
Yeah.
But like we've got a culture, this is
Hmm.
how it works. This is what it looks like at this point. With their
Yeah.
ages, with their stages. That's how we're rolling with a lot of it.
Yeah. Let's cover insincerity. I think the most difficult thing is when you're busy, you have barely enough mental margin, and then your one kid hits the other kid, and you're like, okay, like, say sorry, and they're just like, sorry, and they don't care. And
Yeah.
you can't get them to care, right? You can ask them questions, you can poke and you can prod their spirit, but like at the end of the day, like they're just calloused in that
Hmm.
moment. You know, how do you handle those moments in your household, whether they be few and far between or not?
I call out the fact. I say the quiet thing out loud.
Mm,
And I'm like, "I'm really concerned that you don't actually care and mean what you just said.
mm,
I can make you say any words I need you to say, but that does not protect your heart. I want them to have the fear of God, is what I'm getting after. I want
mhm.
them to be afraid for their own soul and not just me be afraid for their soul. And I want them to love themselves enough to be like, "Oh, dude, that is crazy." So I'll hit that. And then I also have a consequence, especially with littles. Like, "Oh, well, I said I'm sorry." Yeah, I know. You can say anything with your mouth, honey, but uh, you talk with your whole body. So I've talked to my boys a lot about that over the years. Like, they're not allowed to disrespect us just with, like, they can say yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, and still be disrespectful. That posture, I mean, you immediately, like, "I'm not listening to anything you have to say." And I'm like, I'm rebelling with my body language. So
Yes.
even when they were little, they're like, "What? What did I do?" I'm like, "Your whole body language, your posture is wrong. There's many ways to be disrespectful. A
Yes.
door, a door closing too hard, that's problematic for me.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing. That's a rule in my house. Like nobody's allowed to mess with doors. Like, all the even silly games, like we're trying to fight because I was always like, they're gonna break each other's fingers when they were little. So I was
Right.
like, no door play, no door
Yeah.
fighting, no like let me like zero. So I've always nipped that in the bud over the years just to try and prevent my ER visits as much as I could. But
Yes.
um but there's so many ways to disrespect. So I have
Yeah.
always had like quick quick penalties. And if I really saw that and I was concerned about it, be like, hey, no snacks, screens, or toys for the rest of the day or the rest of the week or whatever it may be. And you have to have penalty. You've got to have leverage.
Yes.
Like that's the default. Calm, consistent consequence. And if your lectures and one-liners aren't actual consequence for that heart, then you have to escalate, Dad. You've got
Yeah.
to have something that kid cares about.
Yeah.
And there have even been times where I've created reward for the others so that the other could miss out on because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this kid with this situation. And then I'm like, after dinner tonight, you're not going to get any ice cream. Like, we don't do ice cream after dinner anyway.
Right.
And they're like, there's ice cream after dinner. I'm like, yes, tonight we're doing ice cream after dinner, which I just made it up on the spot, but it's true.
Yep.
So
There you
after
go.
dinner, everybody gets a little scoop of ice cream. They're like, do I get ice cream? I'm like, nobody remember this is the penalty for your behavior. So, like, dads, you got to have consequence. If you're just like,
Yes.
what are you going to do? Like, bro, it's not magic, it's consequence. Pain is a motivator. That's true for adults, bro.
Yeah.
Like, plenty of us do stuff because we don't want the bad thing, right? Like, plenty of guys, like, I'm going to work because I don't want to be homeless. Like, it's not a terrible motivator. I'll be honest with you. So your kids need that. You need to have real leverage. Hey, son, give me your phone. Yep. When do I get it back? I don't know yet. So far, even the response I've had in this moment makes me add time to it, which is still not defined yet. So your attitude is the thing I'm after, not just a period of time. What I'm after is your heart actually being warm and kind. Or maybe you even knowing that now, if I'm talking to a savvy teenager, maybe you knowing that now, maybe instead you're just going to play yourself and become even more deceptive and learn how to trick dad into thinking that your heart is softened. What a danger that would be for your soul. I hope you don't do that. I say the quiet stuff out loud
Yeah. Good.
because I want them to have the fear of God and I want them to know that daddy's not an idiot
Yeah.
and I know how the flesh works. And I know some of that might be personality based, but that's what it
Yeah.
looks like for me.
Yeah.
Bros need consequences.
Yes. All that is really good, man. And it's a very interesting phenomenon when like so many things happen. You ask yourself, like, is it sin for me to just like, okay, I don't really care that your brother hit you, like right now. Just tell him not to hit you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? At some point, you're just like, I actually can't manage it all. And so, how, like, is that something that a brother should be convicted of as a father to let any of those consequences go? Or is there wisdom in just being like, I literally don't have the bandwidth right now?
Yeah, of course. If that's a default that a experiences all the time, then I'd
Yeah.
say there's a big problem that has to be like a life structural issue.
Yeah.
But if that
Good
happens
point.
from time to time where you're just like, I ain't got it. Maybe it's laziness on my part. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's just like, dude, you cried wolf too many times. And I'm
Right.
not gonna play the judge and bring y'all into the courtroom for this one as well. Like, he took my thing. Like, share it with him, and then he hasn't taken it from you. Then you've given it. Haha. Like I've certainly been in that place where I'm just like, listen to me. I'm not today is not the day and I'm not the one. I can assure you. Like and there's something to be said for like the fathering of telling them to go and figure it out.
Mm.
Or if you don't have it in you to figure it out, bring them in front of you and make them figure it out in front of you. Their behavior will improve. And that's another thing that dads need to be doing. I don't do it perfectly, but I've done it fairly often. Is Daddy, can you make him? Can you make him? And I'm just like, they're just borrowing my authority to get their way. I
Oh
say,
yeah.
both of you, come here. Talk to your brother. What do you want me to say? Well, you were just telling me about the Lego, so tell him what your desire is. I want to play with that Lego. You answer him now. He told you he wants to play with the Lego. He spoke to you. It would be respectful to answer him. I don't want you to play with it. I wanted to play with it. Okay? Your turn to talk. Y'all are talking. Don't look at me. Like, I'm making them act decent towards one another and show them
Right.
how to actually process something instead of just throwing stuff at each other or,
Yeah.
everything turns into a fight. So that's something that we need to get better at.
Yeah.
I don't see a ton of dads doing that really well. I see a ton of dads doing like the full neglect, like I can't, bro, I'm cooked,
Mm.
or the I'll deal with each person, but they still never really were forced to interact well with one another.
Yeah.
The Family Captain is all about helping Christian husbands to build an incredible marriage and family culture. It's self-leadership, it's family leadership, it's sex and marriage, all made practical so husbands, wives, and children can enjoy God's best and truly thrive. It's one thing to believe that Christians should have the best marriages and sex lives. It's another thing to know how to make it all happen. But inside our Family Captain Elite coaching program, that's exactly what you're going to learn. In the Family Captain Elite, men are not only equipped with the conviction to act, but also with the wisdom to navigate their exact situations. And they get a clear, practical path to get them the incredible fruit that they're after. So if you want to take your marriage and family culture from just fine to incredible, then go to thefamilycaptain.com and book a free assessment call to see if the Family Captain Elite program really is a good fit for you. That's thefamilycaptain.com. Family leadership is a high calling for your life. So what are you waiting for?
So there's two sides of the coin here. Side number one is a wife that your kids fear more than they fear dad. And then the other side of the coin is a wife that doesn't feel like she has authority in the household, even close to you when it comes to the kids and the kids obeying. And so your calm and controlled consequences land and hers do not because they just don't buy it. So let's go to actually the second side first of the wife who's really feeling like she's kind of lost authority in the household.
Yeah.
And she needs you to affirm all those things. What does that conversation look like in private to coach her into
Great point
that?
that it needs to happen in private, first of all, instead of correcting her in front of them. Be like, babe, you're not making them hold the standard.
Right.
You're gifted here in a way that she's not, brother. So it's a feature in you. We're tempted to see it as a flaw in her. Instead of
Oh,
seeing her as
that's really
flawed in
good.
this area, just see like, no, bro, like this is more your responsibility for you to raise your children in discipline. And it's normal. It's normative. It's normal that she's going to be weaker here at upholding standards. By the way, to any of our sisters listening, that is what it comes down to. The reason you're not listened to is because you're not bringing consequence. That's it. Natalie used to say that with our lab. We had a lab, black lab named Brad Paisley. And she'd be
That's
like,
right.
he won't listen to me. And I'm like, I just make him obey me. Like, he's a dog and I'm a human. And if he doesn't do what I want, there's a consequence for that. So, where she couldn't though. She's got three boys she's trying to keep alive.
Yeah.
And then the lab is chewing up this thing. And she's like, I can't. I just locked him away. Like, she's just trying to survive. So plenty of mamas are in that place, especially the littler that they are. And then the older they get, especially boys, they're going to have more temptation to disrespect mama.
Yeah.
So I knew that that was a temptation for young men. So I was on top of that ever since they were little. I'm like, you will always honor her and respect her. You will always be protective of her and obedient to her. She will always have authority over you until you're a man. Like the day she loses authority over you is the day I lose authority over you. It's the same day. She
Mm.
doesn't lose authority over you sooner, and I hold on to it longer. We will have authority over you exactly the same time, and then you'll be a man. And then I'll say, you're your own man. And now, if you're still living in my house at the time that you're a man, then I'll treat you as a man in my house. Be like, dude, men don't come into my house at 12:30 at night and wake my family. Like, we'll navigate that
Sure.
when that day comes. But yeah, you've got to back her, but you've got to know that it's not going to be 50-50. You've got to know, although she does have authority over the children, she needs to exercise it. You need to know she's almost never going to exercise it as consistently as you are because it's more of a strength of yours. So don't just condemn her for it. Now, if
Right.
she's super weak, that's a problem too. If she's a people pleaser or if she's like, I want to be the kids' buddies and like she's reacting to her parents. Her
Mhm.
parents were tyrannical, so she thinks that like we have to be our kids' friends. And she doesn't realize like, no, our kids need our structure and discipline. That's more of a that's a bit of a more crisis scenario where you got a dad who understands the basics of discipline and a mom who's like, don't you ever
Right.
discipline our kids. Like, okay, y'all missed a conversation somewhere in the pre-marriage counseling moments somehow and don't know how you did that. But anyway, there's a path forward there. I'm just saying it's not a simple fix. There's not a one-liner that makes that go away. But in general, the more you can build systems for her, the better.
Okay.
Because she is going to be overwhelmed and flustered. The kids are going to take advantage of that. They're a bunch of little emotional terrorists, and they know how to manipulate mama. And the older they get, the better they get. So if daddy's not home, if daddy's at work all day, and they're like, we rule the roost. I mean, that's why mamas used to say, you wait till your father gets home.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that used to be a thing, and hopefully it still is. You wait till daddy gets home. Mom said it to me. You wait till your daddy gets home. Because it was like, we're like walking all over her. She's like, your time's coming. And she knew. She knew the heavy was coming. And then dad gets home. We're like,
Yeah.
hi, dad. How was your day? Hope it was great.
Yeah.
And dad would bring consequences. She would bring the report
Mm.
and say, here's what happened. Here's what happened. Here's what happened.
Mm.
And of course, he doesn't, like, you missed your kids all day. You don't want to spank everybody. But the loving father is going to give his children what's best for his children, not just what is most pleasant for him. Because disciplining your kids isn't pleasant for you. You don't do it because you enjoy it. You do it because you want their souls to be saved and you want them to honor their father and mother because it's the
Mm.
first command that comes with a promise that all will go well with them and they'll live long on the earth. So, yeah, you got to be the heavy and you can't shirk that responsibility. You're going to be the heavy and that's normal.
You offered a very powerful reframe when you said that it's not the wife's strong suit and it is the husband's strong suit. And we have to be okay with that being true. Because I don't think I've ever, like, I think I've known that, but I've not really looked at that in that way because I've always felt like if you're always threatening me, then you'll never have the real authority. But what you're saying, it sounds like, is no, 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 that's okay. Realize that that is my strength, even though I don't want it to be. It is my strength. And so, yes, go ahead. Like, I will create the systems. And then you can say, wait till dad, wait till dad, wait till dad, wait till dad. And use that as leverage because you do know that I am the ultimate authority. Yes?
Absolutely. I do want her to have an exercise authority. I want to plainly state that. I want her to
Right.
use authority and consequences with the kids regularly.
Yeah.
But if she's to the place where she's used up all of her juice for the day and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing left, I'm cooked. Absolutely. Daddy will deal with this when he gets home.
Yep.
And I'm texting him right now, or I'm calling daddy right now, or I'm leaving daddy a voice memo right now so he has the context. And daddy's going to solve all of this when he gets home.
Okay.
This is unacceptable behavior. This is dishonorable to your mama and disobedient. And they're
That's
like,
good.
you're not going to beat me right now? Or I'm not going to get this? Or I'm not going to. And she's like, I'm tapped out on that. She's not telling them that. She's not saying, I can't handle this. I don't want her saying that. I don't want them knowing, like, wow, we can wear
Right.
her down. They know it and they can feel it. We never need her to be like, I don't know what to do. Don't say that as parents. Don't say that to your kids. Dads, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. That's a very scary and insecure thing for a kid to hear. Even though, bro, I know you don't know what you're going to do. The Lord does. And there's
Mm.
going to be godly counsel in your life who's going to be able to speak into that and be like, hey, let me help you reframe. Or you're going to talk with your wife in private and you're going to go, like I did recently. And I was like, what is going on? She's like, he's just being a teenager for one day. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I think he's 40 because he's been 40 since he was like 2.
Right.
So whenever he acts like his age again, I'm like, what is going on? She's like, it talked me back. And I was like, that's right. That's right. And I hadn't done anything rash. I hadn't done anything wrong, but I was just processing with her, which is a rare moment for me because gripes are supposed to go up. And I was kind of going down. I was like, I'm really angry. But yeah, I want her to have authority. I want her to use it. But when she's tapped out, I don't want her to think like it's game over. What is she going to do? Well, tag team, girl. This is tag wrestling. Stone Cold's
Mm.
coming in now. Everybody's getting stunned.
Everybody. Okay. That's really good. Let's go to the other side of the coin with the wife who, like, she owns this identity. She's like, I wear the pants. Like, the kids are afraid of me. Like, dad doesn't do much. He'll say, get off the video games, and they'll be like, okay, whatever. But mom's screaming, mom's hooting, mom's hollering. And it's very obvious who wears the pants in the house.
Yeah.
What do we do there?
Ugh. I mean, I know there's tons of bad fruit there. So I could point that out for him to help motivate him. Hey, bro, you're training your kids to not know how to function well in a marriage. You're training your sons to be afraid of women. It's like, and to react. You're training your kids to react to drama. Because usually, if a woman's wearing the pants and she's the heavy disciplinarian, she's usually not doing it with calm, consistent consequences. She's usually doing it with frazzled emotions and overwhelm. Because if she's got a passive husband, I already know for a fact that she's frazzled and overwhelmed and anxious and fearful. So she's not wise, godly woman typically who's just going around just with such order and peace. I think that could happen. I think you take a godly woman, an ungodly husband who's not even following the Lord, and she is a pillar and she is a blessing and she is displaying all the fruits of the Spirit. But that's a heavy load on that sister to have a
Yes.
man who's not active and she's on top of all of it. Like, there's a cost. It's not free. Does the Lord put his super on top of her natural? You better believe it. Thank God. And also, she's operating outside of his perfect design for their marriage, and she's got to for years because, Bob has not yet responded to her gentle and quiet spirit and has not yet responded to the gospel, unfortunately. So that's the exception. The typical, though, is the woman who's ruling with emotional intimidation or anxiousness. So everybody's just uptight and tense. She's uptight and tense. Dad's uptight and tense. The kids are uptight and tense. And everybody just kind of has like this, don't make her mad. And yeah, obviously, bro has to lead. Like, what am I supposed to do, Jamichael? He's got to step up and actually be the standard, be the fence, be the consequence. And when kids don't obey, like you just treat it as crazy. Natalie and I have talked about this over the years. Like, I really struggle in a classroom setting with children, just in different situations I've had over the years, because I'm like, I don't know what to do when a 3-year-old, when I'm like, okay, we're cleaning up the Play-Doh now. Bobby, put this over here. Or Susie, put this right there. And she goes, no. And I'm like, what? And I've asked Natalie over the years, I'm like, what do you do when somebody else's little kid says no? She's
The
like, you
worst.
take the Play-Doh out of her hands. She's like, you get 2 inches from her face and you say, you don't tell me no. And I'm like, dang, that's good. Natalie taught for 1 year. She was very good classroom
Yeah.
management. She, like, her parents were both public school teachers. So like, but I'm like, I didn't know that. Like, you're essentially intimidating them. Is what you're trying to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're getting down there and you go, no, ma'am, you don't tell me no. And you take the Play-Doh from her. Like, you still can't touch her. You can't spank her. But like, I was always freaked out when little kids would like just not obey me. I'm like, dang it, you got me. You win, you little terrorist.
That is so funny, dude.
I don't know what to do with you. I'm calling your mom. Like, calling your dad, putting your number up on the board and come get little Johnny out of the Sunday school because he's a brat and I'm not allowed to spank him. So,
Even you have weaknesses.
bro, they're my kryptonite. Other people's little kids. I'm like, hey, come on, do this. I'm like, no.
That is
All
hilarious.
right, do your thing, I guess. I mean, whatever you say. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is so funny.
I'm teaching a class this coming year in the boys co-op. And I've had Natalie like helping me brush up. I'm like, hey, what do I do if a kid, because I'm like, my boys, I'm like, wall sit, do this, do that, give me,
Mhm.
do that, blah, 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 spanking, whatever. Other kids like what? It's just weird to me when kids don't
Yeah.
obey.
Yeah.
Like, hey, boys, stop talking. I got no problem being assertive and in stating my demands
Yeah.
and having fun as well, and doing all that. But like, if they don't do the thing I said, then I'm kind of like, I don't
Yeah.
know what, I don't know what comes next.
Yeah.
Get out?
Yes.
Like, I throw them out? I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's so funny, man. You know, it's funny. We've mentioned before, you have 3 boys. I have 3 boys and 3 girls. And not to say, I mean, look, boys are hard. I have both. Boys are hard. Boys are aggressive and rambunctious. Girls are very complex emotionally. They will gaslight the mess out of you. They will literally be like, you don't understand me. I'm like, just because I'm not a girl. Like, how many times has your boys been like, Dad, you don't understand me? You know? It's
Yeah,
just
I don't
like
think I don't think I've heard that too
some
many
of the
times.
some of the things, like, see, we can never have conversations about this because you always do this. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, love my
Chris, you need to
girls.
train them now
I know.
to protect your son-in-law.
I need to just do them. I need to get them to do wall sits and
Yes, sweetie.
push
Daddy
ups
loves you. Go
and
wall sit.
yeah, and see. But here's the thing, man. Like, genuinely, it's hilarious. You can't do that with girls, and you can't do the food thing with them either because like there's some spiritual things behind food and women and body
What's
image
the
and all
food
that
thing?
stuff. Like consequences with food. You
Okay.
can't You can't do that with girls when
Gotcha.
they're at a certain age, right?
Gotcha.
And so, like, there's just some interesting things that I feel like I can do with my boys. Like, girls are just like a total,
Yeah.
absolute wild card.
Hey, the rules apply though. Get them to share the emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
That's
good.
still the same thing.
Yeah.
When they want to lecture, this is helping all the dads. When they want to lecture, when they want to say you don't understand me, when they want to say you're not hearing me, and you're like, good grief, my poor son-in-law someday. Like, let's nip that in the bud. Get her in the habit of sharing feelings vulnerably.
Yes.
Daddy, you're not listening to me. She took my thing. Sweetie, what do you feel? I feel
Mm,
like you're not listening. Wrong answer. No, we're not saying that to her, but sad, lonely,
mhm.
jealous. Those are emotions. We want to train her in sharing vulnerable emotions sooner
Mhm.
rather than later. We don't want her to be in her 30s before she finally is like communicating vulnerably. We want her to do, especially with you, Daddy. You're the safest man in her life.
Yeah.
So tell me what
Yeah.
you're feeling. I feel like she's a terrible sister. Not a feeling.
Mm.
So you feel sad that she wasn't sweet to you earlier? Yes. Thank you for sharing that with Daddy. Got to get her. Got to get her in your framework. Don't get sucked in hers.
Yes. I've shared some losses today of how hard it is to parent. I'll see if I can get through this with my voice. I did have a win recently when it came to parenting my girls. My 7-year-old was joking one day. We were bringing in the groceries. She's like, I like this boy and I'm going to date him. I was like, no, you're not. And she just straight up was like, yes, I am. Right. And I was so annoyed. Right. Because the answer is no. Okay. However,
Right.
in that moment,
Just
something,
poking the bear.
it may have been the Holy Spirit, but God was just like, you know what? Just flank on this one. Okay. And so I just like stopped. I just kind of let her say her piece and I walked away. And then the next day I was praying and I was like, all right, Lord, who do I need to take on a walk? Who needs me right now? And God was like, take Lena on a walk. Okay. So I take her on a walk and I just, talking to her. I was like, hey, you know how me and you had that little spat the other day about the boy? She's like, yeah. And I was like, let me ask you a question. And I won't go through the whole story, but as I was walking with her, I asked her, I was like, what's your favorite toy? What's your most valued possession, right? And I was just like, would you, let a kid down the street, even if you like kind of knew him or whatever, like play with that toy? She's like, oh, absolutely not. I was like, yeah, but what if like your one friend was like, you can trust them, And she's like, no way. And I was like, okay, how much more valuable are you to me than that? And she was like, okay. And it started to click with her. And I just gave her the family captain spiel. I was like, look, you know what a man is for? He's a protector, he's a provider, and he's a leader. I was like, can a 7-year-old boy protect you like I can protect you? She's like, no. Can he provide for you like I can provide for you? No. Can he lead you closer to Jesus? No. I was like, the moment he's ready to do that, here's all I need you to say. If a boy likes you, you just say, cool, ask my dad. And I promise you, when a boy comes to me and asks to date you, I will only say yes when he can protect for you, provide for you, and lead you closer to Jesus. Period. Because
Let's
you
go,
are my most prized possession. And I just feel like God just gave it to me, man. He gave me all
bro.
those words. Yeah. And so
This
because
is
girls are so
gold.
complex.
And he did it with the smoker voice.
I know, I'm sorry.
I'm supposed to be bringing the value today.
I know, I'm
I'm
sorry.
supposed to be carrying the load. That was awesome, man. Well done, Dad. Praise God. What a blessing when the
Yeah,
Lord just
well,
drops it
what
through you like that.
what I realized in that moment is like fighting with her, but her not knowing why, did absolutely nothing for us. When I just flanked on it and I had time with her and I just showed her the side of it, I was like, how valuable are you to me? Like, are you kidding me? Why would I
Mm,
ever let some boy just date you just because people date, at 7 or 10 or 15 or whatever? I was like, I will say no until the end of time, until that boy can do 1, 2, and 3. And then you will know, like, all right, that one can pursue me.
amen.
So,
Bro, all the girl dads just got massive upgrade.
well,
That's
good,
awesome.
good. That that's the plan with all of them because I'm in trouble. I got 3 beautiful girls, beautiful, and yeah. And I just it makes me think of like if I let my girls date um, at a young age, like I don't know. I mean, when I instill that into my girls, and then they see other girls dating, I don't want them to look at other dads like they don't care as much. But the fact of the matter is, they're just like accepting culture and not really thinking about the end game.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we're not gonna do
And that's
that.
not your job. Those other dads, they're on their own. Like,
I know it's sad though.
well, I let my daughter date. Settle it for yourself, brother.
Yeah,
You know, as
yeah.
for Chris in his house, over his dead body.
Well,
Because what is it?
he's gonna ask me. That's the thing. I was like, would your 7-year-old friend come ask me? She's like, no. I was like, exactly. So I'm safe until a
What's
boy
up,
has
punk?
big enough
What's
kahunas
up,
to
punk? Say
ask
something,
me.
punk.
I'm serious. Until a boy has big enough kahunas to ask me. Like, if a 15-year-old kid asked me, that'd be pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That'd be impressive.
And you could ask him good questions like when he's like, I want to date your daughter, and you ask him all the questions, and then
Right.
you finally hit him with the one unanswerable question. So, Johnny, last one. What does it mean to date my daughter exactly? I don't know what dating is, Johnny. Like,
Mm,
define it for me. Because I still don't get it. I hear it all the time, but pretend I'm an alien and I don't know what it
mhm.
means. What is it exactly that will change in your and my daughter's relationship? Oh, you know, like we'll date. Like, no, you can't use the same word to define the word, Johnny. I'm gonna need more than that. Oh, you know, I'm poking at everybody right now,
Yeah, of course.
still, because dads can't define dating either. But
Yeah.
maybe they can. Some guys are like, well, how are your kids ever gonna get married? My oldest is walking through some things right now, and we're walking
Mhm.
through it. But again, there is a bullseye target, and it's called marriage. So that's how
Dude,
conversations happen. That's how things work. 14 year
well,
olds.
is the responsibility not on you though, dude? Like, it's on you to prepare your sons to be man enough to come to me if they
Oh,
want
heck yeah.
my daughter, right? It's not on my daughters. It's on your sons to come to me in my
Correct.
mind, right?
You're the covering.
And so
So
for
if he's
my
like, hey,
sons, the
I'd
same.
like to, but that's why dating's so weird. Hey, I'd like to
Yeah,
like kind of help cover your daughter, but not like to any degree of real commitment.
just until I don't feel like it.
But until like we have a big fight or something, or until like she doesn't let me grab her boob
Right.
or what, who knows? Like we don't know. They don't know. No one defines it. So they're like, y'all can date.
None.
That's why asking for marriage is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's good and that makes sense.
Yep.
But having an exclusive, yeah, lots to walk out there. You got tons of freedom, bros. But
Yes.
whatever you do, you should do it in wisdom.
Yeah. Amen. All right, man. I know I've RFK'd us a pretty good amount today. Hopefully we can end this episode. But but listen, is there anything we haven't covered today on this episode that you'd like to cover?
The only thing we haven't mentioned yet is the bro who goes on the other side, away from the bullseye, towards intensity. And Scripture specifically warns us, fathers, about. He says, "Don't exasperate your children." So I think exasperation can look like multiple things, and I think it does look like multiple things. I think it's a father who withholds his blessing, his affection. He's just always displeased. Come on, y'all! Like just the PGS, permanent grump syndrome.
Mm,
He never gives his blessing, never gives his affection, never gives his love. He's more like a bully, like teases, like laughs at the kids when they make mistakes and like just not engaged, not trying to support them, move them forward. That's exasperating to a child when they're not getting
yes.
affection and love. But also a father who does love his kids, but still his standards are just too excruciating. They're just too extra, and he doesn't have context for it. So we've seen that a lot as guys have come throughout the family captain over the years. Like we've certainly seen plenty of passive, but
Mhm.
we've also seen plenty of intense where, and it takes us time to sniff it out. And they're going, hey, like my kids just aren't really squared away, and my kids don't blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we need calm, consistent consequences, and we start coaching through that. And I'm like, so give me a picture, like give me an example of like what it looks like for your kids to be so out of order. And they give an example, and I'm like,
That's Monday.
bro, bro, that is exasperating, is what
Mm,
it is. Like the 5 year old needs to make his bed. I think he should. But like the way a 5 year old makes his bed is different from the way an 18-year old makes his bed. And
yeah.
we need to celebrate the way the 5 year old made the bed. Or like I remember one bro, dude, like if you only heard this one, you would think he was a psycho, but he wasn't. He was a sweet dad, he was a fun dad, he was a good dad, he was a loving dad. But he was like, man, I just still like my kids just don't pick up and I'm trying to stay on top of it. I'm like, what do you have in mind? Give me an example. I always say give me an example because I need to know what are you saying. Me and my wife got into it last night. Like, Like, you put a hole in the drywall and she threw a lamp at you. Okay, that's way different from like, oh yeah, we had a little bit of miscommunication. Like,
Right.
what universe do you live in? Because it's a different one than I do. But I was like, so what's going on with the kids? And he's like, yeah, like sometimes when they get a shower, like they'll leave a towel in the bathroom floor. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, if I'm walking past the bathroom, I see a towel. Hey boys, whose towel? Oh, that's mine, Daddy. Oh, pick it up, hang it up, my man. Boom, just. I was like, that's it. He's like, okay, okay. And I'm like, what were you doing? And my man had like consequence systems instead of stuff. It's like, bro, we're just living, man. Like, we need, that's
Yeah.
exasperating. Or like his kids would leave a light on in their bedroom and then they'd go to school for the day. And he would like take a picture of their lamp on in their room and text it to them while they're in school. And he's like, your lamp is on here. I'm like,
Figure out how much money that cost them and send them a
yeah, I'm
bill.
like, my man, just, I, come at me, listeners. But I would just turn the lamp off, you know? I'm just turning the lamp
Yeah.
off. I'm like, ah, my boy, left your lamp on. I
Right.
don't know. Maybe there's an argument to be made against me, but I talked him off that
Yeah.
ledge. I was like, bro, the only text I want the kids getting from dad at school is, I love you, son. Have a
Mhm.
great day. Remember who you are. Like,
Mhm.
not look at this lamp. Like,
Yeah.
guess what's happening when you're getting home? You're turning this lamp off. I'm not touching it. It's your job.
Interesting.
So, like, bros who are exasperating a lot of times don't know that they're exasperating. They're like, oh, I heard you say I need calm, consistent consequences. I heard you say I need standards. And they're like, well, yes, but you also need to have healthy families around you that you gauge off of. And I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes these bros have built in isolation and they're like, that seems like a reasonable standard to me.
Yeah.
And then if you check in, though, a lot of times their wives are a healthy sounding board. And I'm like, would your wife say you're too intense? He's like, she said that for 10 years. I'm like, my brother in Christ, guess what? You're too intense. I'm confirming. He's like, but I didn't say she's right about everything always ever. I didn't say she's not disrespect. I didn't say there's not other problems here. I'm just saying you are too intense. Man of God, I love you. You can change. It's okay. But you need to know this is reality. So, yeah,
Yeah.
exasperation. The Lord warns against it so you don't discourage your children, so you don't embitter your
Mhm.
children. So, we got to again, I know it's a high calling, but family leadership is worth it, brothers. And the Lord will lead us through.
What do you think is the root of that? Like, what is this guy actually looking for? Is he looking for
He might be a
compliance?
perfectionist. He
Yeah.
might
Like,
be,
what is he after?
yeah, I mean, he might be super stressed. Some guys, when they're stressed, so the more stressed I am, the more
Mhm.
nitpicky I get with the household and with clutter. I've noticed that about myself over the years. So, like, the more stressed I am, I'm like, what's this sock doing? What's this sock? And they're like, I'm exaggerating, but I can tell when I get more stressed, I'm like, what's this thing over here? I'll be gracious about it, but Natalie can
Mhm.
tell. I'm like, hey babe, what's this about? And
Mhm.
like she feels it, and I'm like, because that's me. Like that's me being angry.
Yeah.
Like that's me. Like, hey babe, I need to talk to you about something. She's like, oh no, and like I stay calm the whole time, but I'm just like, hey, I really don't want this to happen anymore. She's like, okay. I'm like, I love you, I like you, but like that's me being intense. That's me
Yeah.
being like hulking out. So maybe they get stressed out and they're like, this is a way I can control something. I'm out of control in everywhere else in my life, but I can control like the living room, and I want to make sure
Mhm.
that this thing is where I left it or something. So there's that. There's other guys who are just we've seen a lot of military guys who tend towards exasperation because like they were trained that way, and they thought it was pretty effective. Somebody
Yeah.
being harsh and having exacting standards, it tightened them up. So they're
Yeah.
like, I guess it'll work with my kids too.
Yeah.
Instead of again, like how do we roll with stuff? How do
Mhm.
we know when it's time? Like it takes wisdom. I was talking to a couple I'm going to be marrying in my church, and they were saying, I say, have y'all had fights? Have y'all had arguments? They're like, yeah, we've had a few. And they're like, but they were really happy to tell me. They're like, but we don't just brush it under the rug.
Mm.
Like we talk through it and we make sure we solve everything. And I could tell it was a source of pride for them because they're like, we're not just ignoring it and pretending it never happened, which would be unhealthy. But I could also tell that maybe they were going to tend towards another unhealthy thing. And I said, hey, I love that. I said, I love that y'all aren't ignoring stuff. I said, one thing you'll find in the future, I said, I'm not correcting, I'm just adding context. One thing y'all find in the future is every disagreement does not need a full audit. Sometimes we just dump a bucket of grace on that thing and say, I love you. I love you too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And we move on.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh. I said, by all means, a relationship is built in all that talking out. I was like, y'all are in love. You're building a relationship. I was like, talk it up, talk it out. But don't think that if at any point you're like, can we just go to bed someday in your marriage, that the other spouse has somehow turned their back on you and we're all full. Like, no, there is a time and a place to go, well, we're pouring grace on that one and we're calling it a day. We're not going to go, like,
Yeah.
how did the fire start? Well, no, I saw you carry the matches in. No, no, no. We're just pouring water on it and
Yeah.
we're moving on. The fire's out. Praise the Lord. So, we need gears, Chris. We need to be able to shift gears. Sometimes,
Yeah.
like, man, like you had gears. My daughter's not going to date. Plenty of guys, they're 7-year-olds like, I'm dating a boy. He's dropping the groceries. It's in the drive. Like, no, no, you're not. Who told you that? Did your mama tell you that? And she's like, whoa. She's getting nuclear dad. Internally, I'd feel nuclear, like you might have as well.
I was like,
And you're like, no. And I know plenty of girl dads who get that way. I would be the same. And they're like, no, you're not. Hey, bro, but don't lose frame. You're the lighthouse. You're still going to lead. And Chris goes in prayer. He gets the wisdom of the Holy Spirit. And then he drops, like, he goes deep in his daughter's soul. And now she's like, wow, oh, well, dating doesn't make any sense after all anyway. And that's stupid. And daddy's the greatest. And that's all she needs to know. That's all she needs to hear. But you had gears. You had other places to go. Exasperation would have been no dating, no dating, no dating. What people would think I would be like. Because my conviction is no dating. But that
Sure.
doesn't mean I communicate about it that way with a daughter or with a child.
Sure. Sure.
I'm going to get my way. I'm going to get that outcome. But I
Right.
can be very wise to make sure that they want what I want for the same reason I want it.
Yeah,
I
because
want
it's
what
the
Lord
right thing.
wants. Yeah, it's objectively the right thing. So,
Yeah.
and if I didn't think it was, I wouldn't have that conviction. So, guys need gears, and you had a great
Yes.
example there of having gears, like shifting, wisely paying attention. Everything doesn't need full exposure, full nuclear option. Like we needed to nuke it, but you nuked it wisely on a loving walk, on a loving daddy-daughter walk. You
Yeah.
nuked it, but not with intensity, not with exasperation.
Yeah. Well, I was grateful that we had that time. I will say really fast, exasperation of actually this morning I had a little bout with my wife where we've been sick. So we're all just kind of like, oh my goodness. And they all slept in a little bit. I got up early. I started getting in the Bible and stuff. And then by the time I was in my office, she was already cooking breakfast and everything. Usually I'm downstairs with them. And it just wasn't our normal rhythm. And so I'm already in here on a call and she kind of walks in and was just like, oh, you can come say hi to us or whatever. Like I could just tell she was frazzled. And then she made like a real snarky comment and then left. I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, it's all good. I walked out when I was done. I was like, hey, you seem upset. She's like, I know, I'm sorry. I just blah, 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 blah. Old Chris would have been like, are you freaking kidding me? You come in on a meeting and you make a snarky comment on me? Blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yep, audit,
Dude, it's
play
all
by
about,
play,
it's all
game
about just
film.
silence. It's just like, hey, you seemed upset. And she's like, so she starts explaining herself until she apologized to me like 6 times. And that it wasn't manipulative. She was upset. I was like, I get
Yeah.
it. I'm like, you're right. This isn't our normal rhythm. It's all good though. You
I'm
know,
out of whack. I'm sorry. I got
we're
flesh.
fine.
And
Yeah.
I let it out. And
Yeah.
hey, Grace, I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord,
just
for mercies that are new
experience.
every day.
And exasperation in a wife usually is we try and, like you said, and I think it's so perfect, is we audit all those little things like, well, this, and we were sick, and that's why I didn't say hi to you guys. I didn't cover any of that. I was like, hey, seem upset? And she's like, yeah, I am. And then she realized she was kind of being a little bit ridiculous. She's like, I'm in my luteal phase and all this, just
Right. Yeah. The phases. They get some
So,
credit for stuff, for sure.
yeah. Anyway. All right, I'm gonna die. So I need to
He's a smoker.
pop
Don't
off
smoke,
here.
boys and girls.
I'm gonna lose my voice entirely. But hey man, really good stuff today. Tell the guys real fast if they're like, hey, what is this family captain thing? I just found this podcast. I'm hooked. What's the next step for me to even like explore what it looks like to get coached?
Man, the family captain, like even the name, think about that. It's about you captaining the ship. We really believe that your Bible is good and safe and should be applied. And we think for whatever reason, ignorance, rebellion, plenty of blame to go around, but the church has not done a great job teaching husbands how to be husbands. We try and teach spouses how to be spouses, but here at the Family Captain, we're like, no, brother, we're going to teach you how to be a husband according to the New Testament so that you win, so that your wife wins. We're only talking win-win around here. And so that your kids win, so that God gets glory, so that your marriage preaches the gospel, and so that you enjoy it. To rule well is a blessing. You are made to rule. It feels good to rule. We're not sorry for using the word rule when we say that. And we want you to experience all the blessing and goodness that comes from that. So that's what the Family Captain's all about. How can a man make family leadership very practical? And how can we have awesome sex with our wives? Because sex is a good gift. We're also not sorry for that. We enjoy that with our wives, and we glorify God with this physical, this spiritual, and emotional gift that He's given to marriage. And we teach guys how to build attraction in their marriage because Christians should have the best marriages. Christians should have the best sex lives. Christians should have the best everything because we should be doing things God's ways, and His ways are always best. So that's what the Family Captain's about at the heart of it. And in addition to the podcast, yes, we have a coaching program, the Family Captain Elite. And that's where we walk play by play. If you heard me reference clients, I'm talking about guys that we work with. We've got a whole coaching staff, and coaches get into scenarios with brothers and they help them level up and grow. We've got brotherhood, we've got curriculum, and we've got the clear pathway so you can see how to get from where you're at to where you want to go. And if you don't even know what's possible, we open up guys' eyes to see how sweet it all gets. So that's what it's about. If you're interested in all that, click the link in the description somewhere around here, and you can book an assessment call. You can learn more. One of the bros will help you out and hook you up.
Love it, man. Until next time.
Go captain your ship. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Family Captain Podcast. Now go take some action and serve by leading well. Also subscribe, leave a review so more men can find the podcast and be helped. And if you're ready to take your growth to the next level and you'd like more support, check out thefamilycaptain.com for our resources that'll help you accelerate your journey. And until next time, go captain your ship.